They called it a revolution, a new kind of freedom. Guests staying with hosts in someone else's house. A chance for homeowners to actually make some money. Did they think we were actually that dense? Airbnb wasn't a charity, first of all. It was a business model. They weren't even first into the game. All of that was built on a lie, which worked, by the way, for a while. And now, everything is collapsing, right down on their greedy little heads. They sold their soul when they went public. Hosts built the platform and Wallstreet stole it from them.
Yeah, I jerk off, yeah. How many times a week?
But that's why you're here, right? You're either a guest that stayed in an Airbnb and hated it, or you're a host like me, who's at it up to here, or about up to here with Airbnb. Let's be honest, once Airbnb had shareholders, they didn't need hosts anymore. And not that hosts were doing a good job anyway, right? Because hosts are the problem according to Airbnb Media. But I'm gonna tell you a secret in this video that Airbnb doesn't want you to know. That's gonna change the whole way you're looking at this problem. First of all, Airbnb failed to prepare hosts to do a good job in this space. The reason why your hosts have been so bad is because Airbnb asked for those hosts. They built their business encouraging that type of behavior. There's a recent video, barely a day old, that inspired this video right here. And if you look in the comments, you can see it. Everybody knows there's an investor class in Airbnb that is eaten alive the hosts from 2013 that would pick you up from the airport, pour you a bottle of wine, listen to your stories, and wax philosophical for the entire evening at no extra charge. Where now in 2025, you can't get your friends to pick up the phone. And if you want someone to spend time with you, there's an app for that. And there's one for cuddling too. You can pay $100 an hour to have somebody just sit right next to you for a while. Hosts in 2012, they'd do that for free. Now we're seeing in the media where hosts are doing this non-consensually, right? The creepy hosts that have the cameras that sneak into your place, that live under the stairs while you're staying there. Man.
What the hell?
What? This is my house.
Yeah, but I'm renting this off you from on Airbnb.
Yeah, but I still live there.
Yes.
And I, as a host, have seen the other side of this fence. I've had guests throw crazy parties. My very first day with one of my properties in Fort Worth, some local threw a party at my pool with 110 people. The very first day. I've had guests die in my place. I've had gang members book my Airbnb and put my housekeepers in the hospital. It's bad on both sides of the fence, my friend. And so yes, if there's bad blood, if hosts hate guests, if guests hate hosts, then maybe Airbnb should just go out of business. You know, you might be right there. That might actually be a good idea. But one of the comments in this video that I watched said, if Airbnb goes bankrupt, won't that mean that housing supply will get greater and that prices will plummet and homes will be affordable again? Well, man, as much as I would love to tell you that that would be the case, because we can't cut enough avocado toast to afford homes right now, that is actually not the case. And this is the big secret that no one wants you to know. Not just Airbnb, but everybody else, because the investor class controls everything. Airbnb has competitors. They've got VRBO, Booking.com, Marriott Homes and Villas. That already should clue you into what's going wrong. But let's back up. VRBO, they're owned by Expedia Group. Booking.com is a global conglomerate that gets about 80% of the short-term rental bookings that Airbnb does, but they also do hotel bookings at an insane clip. They also own Priceline. The investors that own these products want Airbnb out of business, not because they're trying to do something good for you, they just want the business from Airbnb to migrate to VRBO, to Booking.com. Marriott Homes and Villas made their own platform to book houses, which you can do with your Bonvoy points. Really cool platform, by the way. But they also bought postcard cabins, 1,200 cabins across like the Appalachians and all sorts of stuff, so that way Marriott could have a better position into short-term rentals. If these big companies are investing this heavily into short-term rentals, sorry to tell you, even if Airbnb dies, this is still alive and well. The guests are just going to go somewhere else. See, there's enough critical mass in this space that the concept of home share isn't going away. Airbnb just released a newsletter saying they did $90 billion of revenue last quarter, or something wild. The newsletter also said that people are traveling closer to home more, so people inside of 300 miles have started booking houses at 32% year-over-year increase. Meaning here in Dallas, I might go book a cabin somewhere on the way to Tyler, Texas, or something like that, to just kind of get out of the way and stay somewhere quaint. There is a shoe for every foot, and there are a lot of feet in this race. I mean, man, it's fun watching these fall of Airbnb videos. I watch the same videos you do, and you're right, hosts really do suck at this. So many of them suck, and they make so many of the silliest, stupidest mistakes. And as satisfying as it is to watch Airbnb get dragged across the coals of the YouTube algorithm, the truth is that Airbnb's collapse isn't justice. It's a distraction. because the powers that be just want you to buy something else. You are actively being sold the demise of Airbnb. Go stay at a hotel. Sure, you've got your preferences. You don't want to stay in somebody else's house, cool. You don't want to do chores, absolutely cool. I mean, Airbnb is scrambling like hell to try to win you guys back, and I don't think it's gonna work. Let me be honest. They're gonna maybe make a little headway, but you guys have made up your minds already, right? You know what you like. And Airbnb has made it so if there's a chore checkout list, a host has to disclose that. Airbnb has so many anti-host rules now because Airbnb guests were so pissed off that hosts are quitting in droves. Like 60,000 host listings just shut down, self-shut down. Airbnb just removed 400,000 listings that they deemed to be bad, and then 60,000 hosts quit because they're done with it. Airbnb's policy is shifting all the time. Airbnb is losing on both ends. But VRBO has 21% market share. That's a strong position in the United States. And Booking.com is up 17% year over year. That's massive growth. And I know some of you want to argue that Airbnb is a big part of the housing problem. But if you look at the top 20 drivers of home inaffordability, short-term rentals aren't one of them. Los Angeles has tons of regulations. Home prices didn't go down. New York pretty much banned Airbnbs, cut 94% of them, and rent prices, they went up. Housing prices did not go down. The outer boroughs like the Bronx and Queens, they're losing so much money in tourism now because hotel lobbyists got everybody to hate Airbnb in New York. And now the people that were the mom and pops that were doing Airbnb in the Bronx, they're not making any money anymore. And hotels are controlling the supply. Hotel prices went up like 22% when Airbnb got banned. Airbnb getting banned in New York didn't do anything for anybody but pay hotels and rob the Bronx of legitimate tourism money that they could have made. And I don't know if you've ever been to New York or Los Angeles or any of these places where there are these outer areas that have your core tourism central zones like Disneyland or Disney World, but then you have the actual cultural hubs of the city. Have you ever been to the Bronx or Queens or Kensington in Philadelphia or Oak Cliff here in Dallas or East Downtown Houston? There's no hotels because the places were trash. Then investors who loved their cities invested to bring these neighborhoods to life and actually bring some business and some like residential validity to these areas. There's no hotels because hotels won't build in an area where there's so much gang crime that no one would ever want to stay there. So now that these cities are uprising within these greater cities, there's money to be made for locals who own their property, for local business owners that have the coffee shops and the restaurants. And hotels don't want any part of that. They don't want hosts to be in these little boroughs where like the normal local mom and pops can make money. They want to shut that shit down so fast so they can make all the money. I want you to think of hotels like the Las Vegas Mafia, right? They run everything. And Las Vegas is a hilariously perfect example of regulation. Hotel lobbies pushed to ban Airbnb. They pushed it so hard. And they won because they had the money. But what hotels did not have was the power to force Las Vegas to enforce their ban. So all these hotels spent tons of money on lobbyists just to get a little paper certificate that says, hey, you won the legislation. Airbnbs are banned. Good fucking luck. I'm not sure if I can do that on YouTube. We might have to blur that out. But that was for the hotels. If they're watching this, they can complain, they can sue me. Airbnb hosts still operated in Las Vegas in the face of these bans, and they were resourceful enough to make it work. Hotels can only go so far to try to stop something that they want to kill. So I will tell you all my old head hot take opinion on this. And yes, I've been in this space for 10 years. I've been an Airbnb host a long time. I've got a dog in this fight, whatever, right? You are allowed to hate Airbnb, cool. That platform can go take a hike, right? They've done so many things wrong. Hosts quit every day, guests quit every day. They plan for it, they don't care. They operate at scale. VRBO, slightly better, maybe, arguably. Booking.com, God knows, whatever. They're clunky, they're crazy. It's just archaic software that people can book. But there are real good mom and pop hotel owners, operators, bed and breakfast types that have something legitimate to offer the space. And so we can golf clap. Yay, Airbnb, you made it sexy, right? You found a way to make this cool. People wanted to travel and stay in a shoe. Good job. Great, Airbnb. But along the way, it gave me an opportunity, right? I was selling newspaper subscriptions as a kid as I dropped out of music school, and I started doing Airbnb in something called arbitrage, where you don't have to own the properties. You rent from a landlord, furnish it, boom. This is one of my arbitrage properties. I have over 100 of these, and I made $10 million on Airbnb. And I'm just one of thousands of kids who had an opportunity to start a business in this space. Man, if I was still selling newspaper subscriptions right now, God, I would look 60 instead of just 50. If you want to hate Airbnb, hate Airbnb. If you want to hate business owners for being part of the capitalist problem, I'm right there with you too. I'm a bit of an anarchist myself. But if you really want to punish corporate America, capitalism, Airbnb, VRBO, then start finding these operators that really love what they do, and then go find their direct booking websites. Go find their little website, right? And go patronize their little shoe website instead of shoes on Airbnb. There's another comment in the video. They're like, dude, we're just way too impoverished right now. Yeah, Airbnb and booking.com, they take like 16, 18% of the booking value, right? So if you did go book direct, there's a 20%-ish savings right there that those guys, the investor class, don't get to take. That 20% savings, 20% coupon's a coupon. And you know what? These hosts that really put in their work, you can tell who they are. Airbnb's algorithm likes to support now the ones who have good listings with something called guest favorites. Superhost is dead. I've got a whole video on that coming, by the way. So actually subscribe if you really want just honest takes from a 10-year professional on short-term rentals. I've got a lot to say. Open up the safe. I got a lot to say. But you can travel and stay in someone's house or gigantic sized shoe and not have it be a problem. There are ones that actually do a good job. I swear by it. I know these guys. They're cool. I swear they're cool. Trust me, bro, they're cool. But don't for a second think that because you saw something cool on the internet that Airbnb's busting, that people are actually gonna sell all these properties, which is a hedge against inflation. You think homeowners are gonna sell their properties? Investors are gonna sell their hedge against inflation? God, no, they're not gonna do that. Home prices are not going to go down because we have so much more dystopian shit that we've got to work through in this country than Airbnb. And yeah, avocado toast is also not the problem, but you knew that already. Thanks for watching this video. If you're curious about Airbnb stuff, I'm gonna leave my favorite video I think you should watch next in the corner. Maybe give that a watch if you like this video so far. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me and hearing me rant, having a glass of wine with you. And as always, I will see you on the other side.